Welcome back to Fire Emblem Echoes. It's time for us to go back to the Dragon Pit. Fuck you all. So anyway, we're just gonna skip most of this. It's gonna show Delphia leveling up, because she gets a spell from this. Not much more than that. Got Seraphim, and the rest you can just kind of assume. Just clear them out. Alright, that's that. And this is why it's a good thing I did not plow through all of Alm's route before Celica's, because otherwise I'd either have to do that forever or just leave and kind of diffuse the whole situation. Again, I think it's cooler when Alm has to fight for his life against dragons, but I wouldn't say it's a bad thing to just move Alm off that space. You're doing the correct thing. Alright, anyway. Now then, actual start of the episode. It's time for Celica's final dungeon, Duma Tower. Okay, so, if this were Gaiden, I would suggest absolutely being careful with who you bring, but this is Echoes, so you have a little bit of leeway. Nonetheless, my suggestion really is just bring your best units, hopefully you've got a good variety in there, and bring you whoever you want to be better. Who is already very good and could stand to be your best units. I don't have anybody particular in mind except Jenny. You should absolutely bring Jenny because having a dedicated healer is just a good idea. Other than that, you're kind of just free to bring whoever. On a side note, it would be cool to have all three of the White Wing sisters, but you would have to train all of them up very well, because otherwise, that's just a third of the units you can bring with you just for triangle attack. Est could actually use a promotion though, so I could technically bring her in, but I kind of just want to go in and just, you know, kind of clear it without leaving. Cause what if Alm gets attacked again?
The tower is massive, oppressive, like Duma's power given form. What lies beyond the quest for ever greater power? Perhaps that answer lies at the tower's peak.
What lies beyond the quest for power? Me, Jeddah. Okay, so you're probably looking at the runtime for this one and thinking, boy, yeah, this is a long dungeon. Yes. Yes, it is. If you look at the layout of it, it's actually not that long. But like all things, it really just comes down to the fights you have to deal with, and there are a bunch of them. So let's see what lies on floor number 1. Mages. Okay, so once again, the Sonian is a very good weapon that I'm very glad I picked up because it allows me to start any given fight like this, just being able to fight the person on the other side of the pillar and just remove them from play. Technically speaking, I should probably get a mage on the job, but whatever.
I will also always read that spear's name as Saurian.
Also, this is a little against the norm, because usually I take out the other pillar enemy with Sonya, what with her increased range thanks to thanks to the mage ring. But just figured I'll go after a different thing. Getting a lot of low stat level ups here, which kind of sucks, but whatever.
I would say you're getting stats screwed, but it's fine.
Yeah, I don't need them. Like I said, this is more or less the best selection of characters I have in Celica's party, so they're already pretty good. I wish they'd be even better, but you know what? I can do stuff like this, so they can't be terrible.
Honestly, that was pretty much perfect back there.
Alright, let's run down the list, and let's move on. Okay, so, when you start off the tower, you're going to want to go in this direction. This is ultimately a dead end, but there's some good stuff to find along the way.
Like these floating torches.
Like money. Like this bag of a lot of money that in order to use, I would have to get Alm attacked so many times. This tower has a few things for you. A blacksmith is not one of them, unfortunately. Thankfully, the closest village isn't that far away, but, at this point, yeah, I've upgraded what I needed to way back whenever I last visited a blacksmith. Other than that, though, I don't need a lot. I do need that flower, though. Alright, fountain number 1. What do we got? Water of Speed. Very helpful, because we've got a few characters who could be faster. Not Atlas, he's hopeless. So yeah, Leon could use a little more speed. And I'd probably choose Paula, because she's also a little slower than she should be as a Pegasus Knight. Yep, okay. Unfortunately, it's only 2 uses. Damn Duma Tower being stingy with its water.
I can never make good use of these stat boosting things in games like this. Because you can't give it to the one with the most of that stat because they don't need it. You can't give it to one with the least of that stat because it's not going to make a difference.
I wouldn't say it never makes a difference. You kind of want to look around the middle, though. Like, Paula, okay speed. Atlas, no, it absolutely would have been a waste, though. Besides, he's not going to need speed where he's going. Also, just of note, there is a Mila idol here, but it is headless. We can still use it and make offerings, so let's just remove an item. But it doesn't actually say anything other than just the usual walk in Mila's blessing. Doesn't have a head, doesn't have useful advice.
It doesn't say those bastards took my head.
Hey, can you get my head back? Alright, so let's skip around a little bit because I started proceeding back up the tower. Atlas got a cool crit right here. And then he leveled up. And you can probably guess what this means. It means you get 1 luck. But it also means he can now be a bow knight, and you better believe I want to put this boy on a horse. So, alright, well, we cleared that. I guess instead of making forward progress, I will just go back then.
Look, Atlas needs a horse. He's a farm boy. He grew up around horses.
Thankfully, I didn't make it that far back. Alright, Atlas. What are your stat boosts? Basically nothing.
Wait, so hold on. So this is what Atlas is supposed to be like.
This is what bow knights are supposed to be like. I guess, to be fair, increased movement is kind of a reward in of itself, but like, I don't know. You could upskill a little bit, right? You want fast archers, don't you, game? No? Well, okay then. Alright, with that done, it's time to return to where we haven't been before. Alright, so does anything important happen? Because I should mention stuff about Duma Tower in the Gaiden version. Oh! Boy, many wizards. That fight kinda sucked, but it wasn't terrible. I did not die horribly. Good. It was kind of tedious. Bad.
With me around, that is.
God, Valbar and May have not been getting enough action, clearly. Just stuck at 99 experience. Alright, Water of Luck. Probably the least important one, sort of. To be honest, after starting to play Engage, I have a little more respect for luck than I usually do. It's still sort of like the fill stat, right? So, like, it's not the most important thing, but when you see a whole lot of numbers highlighted in blue because your luck goes up, you tend to notice that a little bit more.
Yeah, The thing about luck is it does a different thing in every game, and no game ever tells you what it does.
Yeah, again, Engage actually shows you, like, stats when you're equipping rings and stuff, so, like, if you have something that just boosts luck, you'll see, like, your hit rate and your crit and all that stuff go up. Oh, we got the Lady Blade. Can only be handled by the delicate touch of a lesbian, so May. Don't care what the game says, you take the Lady Blade. So yeah, men can use this sword, and it will have good skills eventually that you can make use of, but when used by women, it doubles in might. So probably one of the best swords you can get if you want your priestess to stab things, which is entirely fair. Typically you're gonna want a magic, but ain't nothing wrong with stabbing.
So if you're gender fluid, does the sword give you 1.5 boosted strength, or does it alternate between 1 and 2 based on what you're feeling?
I think it's probably a case-by-case basis. The sword's very understanding. Okay, so, we are at a sort of mini-boss. Each floor of the tower has its own set enemy that's just standing in front of the enemy, or the stairway, rather. They're standing in front of themselves, yes. Anyway, though, yeah, like, you know the drill with them. You approach them, they roar, and you have to fight them. You cannot preemptive strike them, which kinda sucks because I would like to be closer so that I could just kill them without any actual attacking back, but I cannot be so lucky, so I just have to turtle. So, an important thing to note about the tower, of course, is that anytime you move up or down a floor, everything respawns, except for the bosses. When you kill a boss, they stay dead. So, if you're worried about progression overall, if you kill something near a stairway, you can't always double back and go to the Mila statue, save, and then come back. You will have to fight more enemies, but the boss will be dead, and you don't have to worry about it, which is good because these fights do actually get kinda tough. This one is absolutely the easiest. It's kinda just a normal fight that we've been seeing so far, just with dread fighters and a fiend, which isn't so bad. That being said, while it's not the most difficult fight, it does take some time.
Yeah. God, I forgot about the group in the back.
Yeah, you wish it was just this last dread fighter. That'd be a mercy. Talk shit, get crit. Completely derailed what I was saying before. Alright, luck. So, anyway, yeah, I have slightly more respect for luck now. This is an okay stat. I know what it does slightly better, and I would not immediately refer to it as a dump stat. It is still the least important stat in most situations, though. It's just now I don't think, oh, that character's only flaw is low luck. Well, then that's nothing whatsoever. It can be kind of a thing. Okay, so, right there. That's what I was waiting for. Atlas just got Hunter's Volley. Hey, so you remember Double Lion? That incredible skill that Alm has? Hunter's Volley is just the archer version of that. You get 2 hits at an increased, stat rate, better hit rate, rather. So that is incredible for Atlas, who will never double anything in his life without Hunter's Volley. All it takes is HP, which, hey, remember, if there's anything Atlas does have, it's strength and HP.
Oh, hey, silence.
Hunter's Volley itself has plus 15 to hit rates, which is pretty good for Atlas because His hit rate's still not the best, though he's gotten more skill than I would expect. It's also got plus 10 crit, which is also real good. Its lowest raise is might at only a plus 1.
How boring.
But, like, again, Atlas has strength. That's his thing.
I like how you summoned a bunch of ghosts for that fight and they didn't do anything.
I was a little worried, but I didn't need to be. It was basically just insurance to make sure my healer didn't get turned to paste. I would prefer Jenny survives this.
What the viewer might not know is that that particular enemy terrified of ghosts.
Oh, this was a terrible enemy to not get a preemptive strike on. Okay, so... Floor 2, it's already kind of ramping up a bit. This isn't the toughest fight, but again, real bad timing to mess that one up.
Aunties, everything all right?
Oh no, we're being attacked still.
What happened to your mask?
I decided to stop wearing it when you're around. I mean, how could I keep it on after what you said last time?
Yeah, the mask isn't really helping your sprite.
Conrad, please don't
It's
take
kind of making you
hard.
look like a generic
Even if you don't take
cavalier.
it seriously.
Completely out of style.
Oh, come on, brother. Don't be like that.
Well, that was a short one. Okay, back to it. Much as I would like to show off Hunter's Volley immediately, turtle time.
You gotta be smart about this.
Unfortunately, things don't update automatically, so... To be fair, it's only gargoyles, so not the worst thing to be surrounded by, but also invoke. This should distract the northern enemies well enough.
God.
That being said, that guy's also got a Shadow Sword, so that's not great.
Fuck this ghost.
Really just showing off of that 5% crit.
I wish this one also got a crit.
They all just get crits. Sometimes I swear the crit rate is better against, like, the generic ghost units.
You'd want it to be.
To be fair, it does actually help me to clear them out, because, like, I don't really want them to be in the way. Like, I know I summoned them, but I did summon them specifically so that they would die instead of Jenny, so... no big deal. And I mean, look, they rush off to their deaths, so they know their place.
Alright. Time to start with the biggest threat. Oh wait, everything is the biggest threat.
Yeah, as always, gargoyles have maneuverability, so they can kind of just go wherever.
Leon!
God damn it, Leon. I can't believe you're getting outstaged by Atlas, who's about to do this stunt. I have the pick of the litter here. 88's not the best hit rate, but that's why I have 2 hits in a row. There. Free pickings.
See, Leon? Atlas is the new Leon now.
Yeah, you know, Atlas is really making up for that 2-hour whiff compilation with a 2-hour hit compilation.
He's going to steal your sexuality. We're going to replace our twink with a bear. Actually, I don't... I think I've gotten my my gay body types mixed up. I think a bear is closer to Valbar's body type.
Probably, I think Atlas is just a, you know, plain run-of-the-mill jock. But either way, is this the twink death thing I've been hearing about? I really don't understand the discourse anymore, so... I'm just going to assume this is what it's about.
I don't know.
Anyway, though, like I said, gargoyles, not the strongest, but they can kind of just go wherever. If they just had, like, the pass skill from other Fire Emblem games, that would just be the cherry on top. If they could just say, no, I don't care about units. I will just go over them. I don't care about them, in fact. I feel like if this were any other Fire Emblem game, they would absolutely have that. And really, they should. Just make them complete fuckers. You know you want to, intelligence. You absolutely want to make them the worst. But yeah, they're bad. As are the skeletons with the shadow swords. I would definitely take out the bone walkers first, because shadow swords hurt if they actually connect. Speaking of pain... Goodbye. Also, this only costs 8 HP to use, which is a little hefty compared to a lot of skills, but to Atlas, that is nothing. Let's see, how much HP does he even have? I think he's got like 40 at this point.
Yep.
He can just use 4 Hunter's Volleys. You can't kill yourself with skill usage. He can use 4 Hunter's Volleys without, outside healing or being attacked. In a volley, he can get 8 attacks off on you.
How boring.
I don't guess you know what Atlas's HP cap is.
Oh yeah, no. If there's anything I extremely don't know in any game ever, it's the stat caps. I so incredibly don't care about stat caps. You might have noticed that though they don't appear on the character profiles, because I don't care. Eventually stats will get very high and they'll stop going up, but who cares about that number?
Yeah, in some Fire Emblem games it can be a little helpful to know, just so you have a better idea of like, alright, I'm not going to see any improvement in this area anymore.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, for the most part though, it's for min-maxing. You care about it in Awakening and Fates if you're doing the multiplayer stuff, or the invasion stuff, or whatever you call it. If you see somebody with all capped stats, they're hacking. Or they have no free time whatsoever. Or they have all free time, rather. Nothing but free time. Oh, here we go. Okay, so I was also waiting for that. I'm not excited for this, however, unlike Hunter's Volley. So, this happened to me in my personal playthrough back in the day as well. We're just at the point in the game where I've amassed so many items that I just can't carry anymore. So, gather around everybody, it's time we all just drink soup and water. Because my inventory is so full.
I need to know what this looks like in universe.
It's food.
I'm just like, oh man, I can't fit this root into the pack anymore. What do you mean? What's in that pack, Celica? And she just starts pulling out oranges and bread and water and ram wine.
Bowls of soup.
This doesn't even have a lid.
But yeah, just because of the way the game works, like, I only ever really use items when I'm at the statues, and I can disperse, fatigue, or the items amongst everybody to cure everyone's fatigue at the same time. So, like, I don't burn through items, and now everything is just here, and there are so many items in Duma's tower. A similar problem will happen to Alm, who's also approaching his capacity.
Well, at least you're not experiencing the problem where you have too many items because you refuse to use the useful ones.
Mm-hmm. Also, there's a fountain that cures fatigue right there, so if you think that this final dungeon is giving you so many items because it's a trial of endurance, and you're gonna need to use those items in order to make it through without getting tired, no, you can just go to that fountain and you're fine. Again, it has the problem of, if you come back for it, everything revives except the bosses, so its use is limited. But, like, I could have not used those items right there, and I would have been fine on fatigue, because I could just cure it. And then that's like half-ish of the dungeon done without any real need for the items. I only used items because I have too many.
Serves them right.
Yeah. You tell him, Atlas.
Alright, so let's see. I believe this is almost the... Yep, okay, so there's a dragon over there. I'll be with you in one moment. There's just a whole lot of stuff over here. I just emptied my backpack, so it's time to put more stuff in it. Well, that's just money. That's not actually filling my backpack. I put the money in my purse, which is separate from my bag.
Huh. Maybe this stuff is in the fountain. Skill, the Ghost Atlas. I know that one.
I mean, May's kinda low, and she needs it. She needs to be able to hit things, and Atlas...
You don't have a video titled May Whiff Compilation.
I could, though. And besides, I have Hunter's Volley now. I gave it to him because that also boosts crit rate, but like, he's got Hunter's Volley, he's good. Okay, so, oh god, of course there's an archer.
Hey, it's me, the archer.
So, once again, time for turtling. So, yeah, this is just gonna kind of suck. So, Necro Dragons are going to charge us. We want to try to take care of the gargoyles because they'll just be a nuisance otherwise. Let's attract things to the illusions. Let's mess up. It's fine, though. Valbar can take hits, at least. That ghost, however, could not.
Alright, now do that again.
Unfortunately, no, but you know what? There's only 2 gargoyles. It's just a duo, not an entire swarm. That being said, though, Saber, you've got a brave sword, so, like, you have the potential of killing them. There you go.
Yes.
In fact, you're just going to style on him.
I was gonna say, what if he missed with a 92% hit rate?
I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibilities. I'm just glad it didn't, because now that— oh, wow, you're brave. See what I
Get
tell
out!
you? I swear, crits proc more on generic units. All enemies just have a hidden clear the chaff skill, and boy, you have big dreams, don't ya?
I mean, what does he have to worry about? He's already dead.
I exist just to suffer! Alright, me just trying my best to avoid the red zone. Do not want to enter that. I have enough problems here as it is. Oh, heavy draw. Far less impressive than Hunter's Volley, but okay, at least I have something to improve your just overall hitting situation. Oh, almost left home without Hunter's Volley. There we go. Now he's gone.
Alright, I got my Atlas stats. My Statless, if you will.
I mean, now he can use Hunter's Volley 5 times in a vacuum. Okay, so this still isn't the hardest, though it helped that I did manage to crit at least one of the gargoyles on the left side, and both on the right.
Oh, never mind.
He almost had it.
Just 52 more rounds of this and I've got you, you dragon bastard.
Don't worry, Celica. I'll handle this. I'm just crit fishing at this point because getting this guy out of the way, important. Can't forget there is a Bow Knight over there. And we already know that Bow Knights are not to be messed with. And that I have 2 of them, and they're both very good. Though one of them has Hunter's Volley, so... Not that I have favorites, but I could choose one if I wanted to. Alright, so that one isn't too bad either. The other mini-bosses, if I remember correctly, are a bit more of a problem. Though this guy, has a bit of an issue with his 2 attacking me. Just wait until I come up with Hunter's Volley. You only scored a hit there because Atlas isn't nearly as good when countering as he is just doing this.
Alright, finishing blow.
Get his ass. Ass gotten. Alright, so there we go. Good job, Conrad. You leveled up and can now promote to Gold Knight, which means I have to go down 2 floors. Well, I mean, I do kind of need to save, don't I? Well, down I go. Actually, it is legitimately a good thing I saved, though, because, again, floor 3, very tough. Changed Gold Knight. And now we just have a strictly better Paladin. Though, movement isn't really the best in Duma Tower. I am glad I gave Atlas movements. He didn't have a horse before, though. Conrad did have a horse, so I feel like it matters a little less to him that he has more movements.
Why are all these horses just being kept in Duma Tower?
Duma just keeps stealing horses, I don't know what to tell you. Look, we sacrifice our various bits of leftovers. The Duma faithful sacrifice horses.
In our version of sacrifice, the sacrifice item just physically transports there. So I'm just picturing a bunch of monks are like reading and all of a sudden like something goes wrong and a horse teleports into the library. Starts kicking over bookshelves and all the monks freak out.
Shit. Got the incantation wrong.
Stop the horse!
I don't know how to stop the horse, I only know how to make the horse go! This is all my training covered. Okay, so I should also mention, this particular group, sucks to deal with. I hate everything on the right side. Thankfully, while the accuracy isn't great on this one, Hunter's Volley at least scored 1 hit, so that's good. I just want all possible attention to the right, because Sonya could be in a little bit of danger. Of course. Oh, Dread Fighters. Love having them, hate fighting them. That one's not even standing on the special space. He's just a dick. Alright, I did neglect to mention before, but Celica did unlock Ragnarok, her ultimate spell, in the last mission. Which, Ragnarok is just a very powerful fire spell. Not much more to it other than that. Unfortunately, it's not Warp Ragnarok, where you just teleport behind somebody and obliterate them while saying nothing personal, kid.
It's also nothing like the Ragnarok and Valkyrie profile. And if you, the viewer, are interested in Valkyrie profile, by the time this episode goes up, the stream should be finished.
At least the main game. Though, to be fair, bonus dungeon probably won't be that long, right? Right?
There is exactly one enemy I want you to see in the bonus dungeon, and I do not care if you beat it or not. I just need you to get owned.
This is the enemy that kills you if you press buttons.
This enemy reads your memory cards. If you have any non-Tri-Ace games, it obliterates your health.
Okay, Dread Fighter. Please die and go to hell. I know you're a ghost, but please go to hell anyway. Thankfully, I managed this fight pretty well, considering all of the extremely strong enemies I had to deal with on this end of things. But that guy's been a nuisance that distracted me from this side, so he can die. Alright, so we are in the middle of the 3rd floor, which means I think it's a good point to bring up differences from Gaiden. Okay, so I'm gonna say this dungeon is a lot better overall in this game than it was in Gaiden. First off, if I remember... Okay, so sometimes I cross-reference stuff in the, like LP archive LP of Fire Emblem Gaiden because it's one of the better sources of just finding things about Gaiden. So it basically seems to be that Alm has to do at least 3 fights in the Dragon Pit, so if you arrive early as Celica, then you have to get to the Dragon Pit as Alm, do 3 fights, and then you're good. Otherwise, Alm just fights forever, and the LP didn't specify why, but apparently they get harder after the 3rd fight. I don't know how, but that's what they said, and I trust them. Once again, gotta drink stuff. But yeah, so you do have the freedom here to not trap Alm in a Dragon Pit, and if you do this before actually doing anything on Alm's route, I'm pretty sure you can actually just clear this before Alm even knows there are dragons on that end. Again, have not tested that one myself. There are a few more things that I've had to cross-reference, amongst other things that are yet to come, but we'll get to that when we get to that. As always, of course, the dungeon design itself is just better in this version of the game, because, of course, in Gaiden, it's just squares. It's just squares with fights in them. But the fights themselves are actually worse. In this game, it's just contained rooms with a bunch of tough enemies, which is, that's just how this game goes. In Gaiden, it's actually like almost a rooftop fight in the way they're set up, and that, like, there are just platforms, and you kind of just start next to enemies, and unless you're using flyers, you just kind of fight whatever's on your platform. It looks tedious. So yeah, as tough as this is, it is better than that, at least. I much prefer just going up against tough fights that are no more interesting than your usual fights in this game. As always, it's more about enemy formations than actual map layout. And while that's not my favorite thing, again, rooftop battles. Alright, so anyway, this boss sucks ass. We've got a whole lot of bone walkers, and a whole lot of archers. So, I'm going to turtle here, as always. Unfortunately, turtling still sucks. It's still the worst to do that. And yes, the side's kind of undefended. Apparently I decided not to invoke, but to be fair, I don't really want to aggro anything that's not going to charge me turn 1, so I would like to just deal with things on this side of the arena, thank you. Oh, sorry, I said all skeletons. No, there's a dragon here too. There's dragons. My mistake. Now here's the part that sucks, because a lot of things did decide to aggro. And unfortunately I couldn't take this guy out. So, I don't think that turn wheel usage matters for this dungeon. So if you want to, I don't think it's a huge problem to use the turn wheel. There are no repercussions for that. However, just in case, I tried not to. Now, did I succeed? I mean, the important things that I tried. It is very tough, though. It's very tempting when a thing like this happens and your first character misses to just go, okay, well, I'm not having that. I would prefer to spend turn 1 actually hitting, thank you. And here's the part that sucks. It also sucks because I was really hoping Sonya would crit there. The least useful crit. I'm just looking at this formation and I'm still dreading. I already know I finished this, but god, having to choose between the Necro Dragon and a Bone Walker was not fun. Didn't like doing that. Didn't like that happening either, but thankfully his accuracy was worse than it could have been. This was the worst.
Oh.
But thankfully nobody can capitalize on it. Okay, so I really wish this game had, like, line attacks. They're all lined up there. I just want to fire through all of them.
Where's my battalions?
Where's Corrin? I need torrential whatever. I forget the name of her move, but it's also good.
I need my cavalry charge.
I'm very glad that this was actually a successful run, because god, it would have sucked to not have that. Oh my god, that ruled.
Oh, didn't you know?
Alright.
My horse trade with the mountain goats.
Not only have I defeated you, but check this shit out! Everybody else on the map just fucking dies on the spot.
When he gets to the top, Diz's gonna blast Conrad off the tower, and he's just gonna ride back up.
Alright, finally, I have killed your brother, Princess Aunties. What are you gonna do about it? Is that clopping? What the fuck? How is he doing that?
Unfortunately, I don't have anything I can use to make good clopping noises. I was just slapping my laptop for a bit.
You're telling me you don't have a pair of coconuts around? Disappointing. Alright, and so this nightmare of a battle ends with a shoulder tackle. So I wouldn't say that one was down to luck. I feel like I made some pretty good decisions there. But also, boy, that was kind of down to the wire. I saw Atlas getting doubled by 11 damage, and even though it couldn't kill him, I was still on edge at that point. And also, while I said I'm glad I didn't fail that fight so that I could keep Conrad just standing on the wall, I did immediately go up to the next floor. Did not save. Anyway, I'm skipping this fight because it's dull. It is technically a new formation, but like the only real difference there is the Cantor, and if you hit them on the overworld and can just kill him turn 1, you have nothing to worry about. He can't summon anything. He wasn't even running towards me on the map, so, like, he couldn't have gotten a preemptive strike, and he couldn't have summoned on his first turn before I got to act, so, like, it was nigh impossible for that Cantor to actually do anything in a fight. I'm kind of surprised they took God, I have so many mana herbs. I'm kind of surprised that this is actually the last floor formation, or one of them at least, because, like, that's pretty weak. Cantors are not a threat in confined spaces.
Atlas, no!
Even if I hadn't preemptive struck him, like, if he had summoned, I could just have Atlas shoot him. That could have been it.
That's food.
So do you think Sonia cooked that herring before eating it, or did she just shove it in her mouth?
I don't think so. I don't think Sonia willingly ate that. I think Celica just took it and just shoved it down her mouth. That's not anybody willingly eating anything, except Atlas. He grabbed that bag of flour and he went to town on it.
Yeah, I brought it up because of that.
Atlas loves him from flour.
Atlas, you're gonna die.
No, I'm fine.
It's super dangerous.
Anyway, a guy was just kind of hanging around, and I don't know why. Oh well, he's dead now.
It was his honey we stole.
Hey, give me back my honey.
I'd call that
He was dialing 911 to report a robbery.
He just runs up to the microwave. I'm calling the police! Alright, Water of Defense. Probably, weirdly enough, not the most useful fountain here. But Paula could definitely use defense because she, you know, fights things up close, and Celica for the same reason. Celica can magic, but she's also just a good melee fighter too, so I would like her to die less. Die less, magic more, you know how it goes. Now that Cantor was trying to charge us. So, same deal as before, except this time, it's time for the final Celica-Conrad conversation.
Montees.
Oh, I didn't know you were so close by.
I keep starting in, like, the same space every map.
Kind of funny how we keep running into each other like this, huh?
This is hardly the time for idle chit-chat, Conrad. Everyone else is fighting their hardest, and we need to do the same.
I mean, the fight just started, and this really isn't a difficult formation.
Wait.
The other one with a Dread Fighter was harder.
1 second. Any who dare lay a hand on my sister shall feel the sting.
Hold on one sec, let me just get this. Alright, check this shit out!
The spirit.
I'm cool again! Just knocks the hat off that man.
God stabbed him into a fade cut.
Milla has seen us through safely.
Alright, well then. If I remember correctly, we're actually getting pretty close to the end of the floor. So smash that. I really don't need money that much though, so honestly, I really shouldn't be smashing that many things, though I do so mostly out of spite, but I definitely don't need healing items. At this point, my inventory is full, I'm good. Oh, Rusted Lance, great. Well, can't carry that either. And I already did the Steel Spear mission, and even if I didn't, this would be the absolute worst place to turn around for it. Like, are you kidding me? I would not turn around from Duma Tower to help Alessio. I would say I wouldn't touch him with a 39.5-foot pole, but like, I already did his mission, so I guess I will accept doing jobs for him. I guess I would piss on him if he were on fire, but only in the case of it being a mission. Which, to be fair, it would be kind of funny if you just entered an area and saw Alessio on fire. Just a PNG of a man on fire.
The text box is just ah!
Oh god, somebody actually finally attacked me for being an awful capitalist. And of course, Water of Attack, amazing. Anyone can use this. Like, there's no bad choices for attack.
Earlier you made the comment of, like, pissing on Alessio if he was on fire, and I'm picturing this hypothetical side quest where you walk in, it's just the PNG of Alessio on fire, the text box is just, and then the prompt comes up and it just says, piss? Yes or no?
Okay, so this is the last mini-boss of the dungeon. Boy, we still have 10 minutes left in this video, huh? Oh, sorry, 16. It's really closer to 20. Okay, so this fight fucking sucks. So, of course, we probably want to turtle a little bit because we've got a lot of tough enemies right up front, except you don't want to turtle because, of course, they're moguls. And remember, their gimmick is that if you leave them alone, they'll just multiply. So if you leave them alone for too long, without giving them a reason to charge you or kill them, you kind of just have to deal with a lot more of them. But you definitely can't go too fast. A, because you start far away from them, and B, look at what we're up against. Dreadfighter over here, Gold Knight over there. Witches, 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 and witches. Thankfully, you decided to attack the worst person to attack. Why did you do that? See, that is smarter. And you still fucked it up. Alright, thankfully though, those two moguls decided not to divide. I don't know why. I genuinely don't understand the AI of this game sometimes. I'm not complaining, mind you. I'm glad they didn't. I just don't get it. Anyway, though, now we've just gotta deal with this shit. And now, the rest.
Surrounded by bad moves to make.
Yeah, I said the fortress map was one of the maps where I deliberated the most, but you know what? Second place goes to this one, where I just have to deal with the everything on board. Thankfully, Gold Knights aren't nearly as resistant as Dreadfighters are. Paladins are typically a little more resistant as far as units go. I think most games would describe them as, you know, the more resistant type. At least I remember that being the Game Boy Advance games did that a lot. It's not always the case. Clive, of course, is still bad at resistance even when he becomes a Gold Knight, so... hitting Paladin and above does not help him in the slightest.
Nothing like being in a situation where it feels like every move you make is a bad move.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's actually a term for the situation in a game where every move you make will put you in a worse position. Like, if all of your moves available to you will put you in a worse position than if you had not made a move, that is called Zugzwang. It is German for compulsion to move, and it was coined by a Russian chess player who was born and raised in Denmark.
Thus the inspiration.
So linguistically, it's all over the fucking place. I don't know what's going on there, but...
Alright, so I didn't really have great moves, as stated, so I just decided to silence that witch, so that she couldn't do anything this time. And that other witch is at 1 HP, which is why I decided to ignore her for the rest of that round. Tempting to take her out, of course, but then, of course, I should've, because that guy can heal. She didn't get to wreak havoc or anything, but it was still annoying of like, alright, perfect, I've shut down both witches, and I did not, in fact, shut down both witches. Alright, now this part sucks, however, because guess what? That gargoyle can also silence. that I did not pick up on amongst the everything else going on. But yeah, no, now Jenny's useless for this round, so that's great.
I think I've mentioned before that defense maps are actually some of my favorite maps in Intelligent Systems games. But this isn't really that much of a defense map.
Like many other things in Echoes, it just is. It is a giant square. We are lucky they even put in pillars to increase hit or avoid.
Like, I do see where the defensive strategy comes in. You turtle up at first until you eliminate all of the non-mogul units. And then you start mopping up the moguls. But that doesn't sound very fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's kind of just the strategy for all of the bosses is the thing. All the many bosses here, which, again, I'd prefer this over Guidance map design for Duma Tower. Because that's tedious, but probably easier if you know what's happening when you're going into it. But it is a little repetitive. But that is why Echoes is probably not anybody's favorite map design in the series. If you like Echoes, it's probably for different reasons than the maps. I don't mind the gameplay loop too much. I think the whole idea of having, like, smaller fights is interesting. Oh god, that's awful. Boy, I wish I had a healer here. Boy, I really wish I had a healer here. So yeah, I decided to go with May because, in theory, if this fucked up, I could just do this. And then recover. That allowed me to do this instead, so get fucked. Like I said, this is not the dungeon where you need to be worried about, using turn wheel. I just would have preferred not to at all. I just got kind of desperate because, good lord. And Jenny's useless for the next turn too.
No speaking.
You want to use your healer, but then you would be able to use Invoke, and we can't have that.
Gargoyle has declared no speaking aloud.
Keeps putting Jenny in timeout, how dare you. Alright, so that last round was probably the worst of it. From here on out, I mostly have this under control. Mostly. And I still have enough HP to use Hunter's Volley, so... Get dead, idiot. God, my archers are so good. This right here was a little bit of a risk, putting Paula in the middle of everything. But I upped her stats, and there are other people who can do things here anyway. Like Sonya, who can just smite a man. Right, so yeah, at this point, all I have left to deal with really is just the moguls. Now that nothing's silencing me anymore, and therefore I'll be able to use Jenny again next turn, now we're good. We're good. Doesn't matter if you multiply, we're good. We're fine. We're okay.
Yeah, now it just moves from anxiety-inducing to tedious.
Mm-hmm.
So now we just gotta hunt them all down.
Thankfully, though, my archers were in top form today, so... Like I said, Atlas hit compilation. 2 hours. And this was about 2 hours. I should mention, there's been a lot of speed up and a lot of cuts. Non-com version of this one is very long. It is, in fact, let's see, 2 hours, 4 minutes, 36 seconds. I think the, full unedited was like 2.5 hours. This one took a while. And also, I should mention there was a failed take. When I said I was glad I saved after, Conrad became a gold knight, that is because I did have a couple of bad takes. There were some bad runs. Floor 3 is probably the hardest one. I would say this is definitely the hardest mini-boss encounter, but like, Floor 3 had some tough enemy encounters as well, so that was just overall the toughest one. IMO. Though again, the beginning of this particular map is brutal. And with that, however, we are done. That is the last battle of Duma Tower. Now, just to warn you, if you have anything else you want to do as Celica at the moment, double back and do it now, because once we go up that stairway, I think you might be able to back out, but once you progress story, it's kind of a point of no return. So, everybody, before we get to the top of the tower, let's have some food. Celica, have a cookie. You've earned it.
My favorite.
Oddly enough, I did not lose more, fatigue than I
I
did,
suppose it's better than going hungry.
which is surprising because that battle felt brutal, but it wasn't so bad.
Yeah, if I were May, I'd be pretty upset.
It's food.
I'd not be feeling up to anything else, no matter how much yogurt you gave me.
Ooh, can I really have this?
Valbar, you get water.
Battlefield.
Good enough.
So all of this eating, and if I were to run into another room with a lot of food, I would once again fill my backpack. So yeah, I'm not fond of the inventory cap in this game. It's way too low. And so here we are at the top of the tower with some of my favorite flavor texts. The ornamentation on these pillars is disturbing. Oh god, pillars what? What about these pillars? These pillars disturb me greatly. Celica's just terrified of these pillars. She hates them so much. The sooner I'm away from the pillars... No, not Jeddah standing in the center of the room. The pillars.
I feel like these pillars are getting metaphorical.
The dome... That's fine. It's weird, but whatever. But the pillars... Ugh, sends a shiver down my spine.
Impressive. I did not expect all of you to make it here.
I thought at least one of you would die. What the hell?
Now, where is she?
That pretty boy should be dead.
I wish if you got here with less than your full party, he just said, "Ha, I knew one of you would die before you got here."
At any rate, I'm afraid Milla isn't here. She's underground.
You went the wrong direction, idiot.
This altar.
I don't understand.
I can grant you sight if you so desire.
I can already see...
Now upon your precious Earth Mother.
Now look at my back. I'll display the image here. See, Milla? That's right. She's dead.
She's been turned to stone.
She's just a rock now.
Piercing her brow. Is that Valentia?
No, that's a straight sword, Conrad. Get it together.
Boy, it is indeed the divine blade.
Well, it is indeed a divine blade.
Say this.
There are so many divine blades.
The moment
On this continent alone, don't even get me started on Arcanea.
Falchion. Do not ask me her motive in this, for I understand it not.
And don't ask me about what Milla was thinking either. I don't get it.
Which can harm Lord Duma. She's has left her children to their fates.
Haha, your god abandoned you.
That was definitely not a kya noise there.
Mila, I don't understand. Why would you do this?
Be stabbed?
Forsaken us?
Well, no, he did say that she did that to herself, which, to be fair, don't know how she managed to get a sword into her own head, but I guess she's a god, so anything's possible.
Too distracted thinking about how they was just a second Falchion. Falchion the First is still in Arcanea.
I mean, personally, I was distracted by the awful pillars that I can still see in this cutscene.
Celica, no! He wants to turn you into a witch! That is a really bad idea! There's no other choice. Without the Divine Dragon's power, all of Valentia's people are lost.
Yeah, so one god's a statue now, and the other's going mad, so,
You couldn't tell us.
considering the land is literally made of god magic,
Remember? You promised
cannot
to
see
put
this
her
going
away
well.
again.
I'm sorry, Conrad. I'm sorry, everyone. Please forgive me. I can't tell you how much it means to me that we've come so far together.
But I am going to die, this I swear.
Art are no longer necessary. Be gone to wherever you will.
Unless it's somewhere good.
No!
Calm yourself, Your Highness. I've merely sent them below.
Oh, okay, do you have, like, a setup down there? Do you have, like, a mini fridge?
Oh no, I've got hordes of monsters.
While away the hours
That
here,
doesn't make me feel better.
boys suffer.
Alright, Celica, you can watch Alm suffer. On this TV I set up on this pillar! No!
Ignore the static, I could only get an old CRT. The picture's not the best.